demand is the relation between price and the quantity and other factors. What are the other factors? Let's say income and the related good or our taste. All these factors are not changing. So given this assumption, we see the price relation between price and quantity, and then we know that this price and quantity and demand is given this way. Okay, under this assumption. Then you can ask, what if these factors changes? What if income changes? What happened to this relation? Let's say your income increases. Your income increases. What happened to this relation? This relation changes. Maybe increase or maybe decrease. If these factors changes, then this demand curve changes. So we can find that, okay, when other factors change, so what happened? The demand changes. When I say that demand changes, this means that increases or decreases. If demand curve shifts to the right, then we say that demand curve increases. If demand curve shifts back, then we say demand decreases. When this happens, when demand changes, the other factors, other than price and quantity. So you have to know this. Demand changes when other factors, rather than price and quantity change. So this is the one question that a lot of students miss. Okay, so now think about this. Let's say, think about demand for coffee. We talk about demand for coffee. Okay, then demand for coffee is given this way: quantity and price, and this. This is demand of coffee. What happened to this demand? If price of coffee increases, so what happened to demand for coffee if price of coffee increases? If the price of coffee increases, then demand, this demand does not change. Demand for coffee does not change. Instead, what happens is that, okay, let's say price coffee is $2 per cup. Okay, at this price, we used to enjoy 10 cups of coffee per week. Then let's say price coffee increased from $2 to, let's say, $3. So what happened to the quantity? Oh, that's too much. I'm going to drink only 7 cups of coffee per week. So if the price of coffee increased, then what happened? Quantity of coffee demanded decline. Quantity of coffee demanded. That means quantity of coffee that we want to buy decline from 10 cups to 7 cups. But this demand curve itself stays same. Demand of coffee does not change. Only this happens. Okay. So this is what most people are confused because they do not understand definition of demand in economics. This is what we define demand in economics. So now, for the same case, think about this case. This price and quantity. This is demand for coffee. Demand for coffee. If income changes, what happens to this demand of coffee? If income changes, then this demand changes. That means this may increase or may decrease. This happens. Why? Because income is other factors. Income is other factors. Okay. So this is the very important difference between the demand that we know and demand defined in economics. Any questions about this? Okay. Then now Okay, let's try to talk about. Okay, change in demand. Change in demand is, as I said, demand curve increase or decrease. That's called change in demand. Change in demand. Okay, this is. Then first, think about the case. Okay, that okay. First one is related goods. This one. Okay. So by looking here, let's say, for example, Coke and Pepsi are related. They are related because their tastes are similar. So what happens is that if people can find Coke, then some of them may try Pepsi. So they compete each other. So they are related. Yeah. Then what happened to, okay, this, let's say one is this. One is, this is price of Coke. This is quantity of Coke that we want to buy. This is price of Pepsi. And this is quantity of Pepsi that we want to buy. Then demand for Coke is given this way. This is the demand for Coke. And this, let's say this is the demand for Pepsi. Then you can see that demand for Pepsi may increase, even though price of Pepsi is $1 per can. Even though price of Pepsi does not change. At this price, let's say 100 people drink, okay, the Pepsi. But even though price of Pepsi is same $1 per can, it's possible that, okay, 200 people drink the Pepsi. So in other words, demand for Pepsi increases, even though price is same. So this, as demand changes, this is the change in demand. So why this happens? Because of Coke. Let's say price of Coke is same $1 per can. At this price, let's say 300 people drink Coke. Okay. But then suppose that Coke raised the price from $1 to $2. Because of this price increase, you know that demand for Coke does not change. What changes is what? Quantity demanded. Quantity of Coke demanded. Quantity of Coke demanded decreases as price of Coke increases. From here to here. Okay. 300 cans to 200 cans as price increase. But demand for Coke remains same. But then think about this case, because only 200 people drink Coke because of this price increase. What about the 100 people decide not to buy Coke? And some of these may try to buy the Pepsi. So that's why what demand for Pepsi increases because of increase in. So because of this, what happens is that demand for Pepsi increases because of this. Because of this, demand for Pepsi increases. You can find it. This is the first case. Then now think about, okay, complement case. Complement. Okay, I don't know. Example is, let's say, a tennis racket and tennis balls. Okay. They are related. How they are related? Whenever we play the tennis, we need the racket and balls. They go together. They go together. So this relation is called complement. Okay. In this case, what happened to the demand? Okay, so now think about this case. Let's say this is price of tennis racket. This is quantity of tennis racket. Let's say this is price of what? Tennis ball. And this is quantity of a tennis ball that we want to buy. Given this, we know that demand for tennis racket is given this, and this is the demand for tennis ball. This is tennis ball. This is demand for tennis racket. Now suppose that, okay, price of tennis racket increases. Let's say $10, $20 per racket. At the time, 100 people buy the tennis racket per week. But then price of tennis racket increased to $20 to $30. Then what happened to demand for tennis racket? This does not change. What changes is only this. Only 80 people buy. So when price of tennis racket increases, the quantity of tennis racket declines. Okay, from here, okay, we know that demand for tennis racket does not change. But these are related changing. Okay, the price of tennis racket will affect this demand for tennis ball. Let's say for $1 per ball, 100 people buy this. But then, even though price of tennis ball remains the same at $1, what happens only? Okay, let's say 80 people buy the tennis ball. This. So this means that demand for tennis ball declines. So what will happen is that as the price of a tennis racket increases, what happens is that demand for tennis ball declines. So we can see this case. If this happens, tennis racket and tennis balls are complements. That's what we can find. So this. Another factor that I like to talk about is income. So in this case, we learn two concepts: normal good and inferior good. Okay, so let's talk about what normal good is and what inferior good is. Okay, so think about this case. Let's say, this quantity and this. Let's say this is for good furniture. And then the relation between price of furniture and quantity of furniture is what? Given this demand for furniture, good quality furniture. So demand for this, but this happens when income, average income of the people in this market is, let's say, $50,000 a year. Okay. This relation is when average income of this market is $50,000 per year. Okay. Then suppose that, okay, let's say, so from here, what we can find is that, let's say, okay, at $5,000, okay, let's say this much, okay, 100 units of furniture are sold. We can find. But imagine what happened when income increased from $50,000 to, let's say, $70,000 per year. If income increases, what happened? Let's say, because even the price of the furniture remains same, but as income increases, some people want to buy. Okay, I want to buy more furniture, 120 units furniture. So, then what we can see is the demand for furniture increases. So because of this, demand for furniture increases. Okay. If this happens, then we say that furniture, this good quality furniture is what? Okay, normal. It is normal to buy more when we have more money, right? So this furniture, if this happens, then income increases. If demand increases, if this happens, then furniture is normal. But sometimes this demand may decline when income increases. Think about this case. Let's say price of very low quality meat. This is quantity of low quality meat. Okay. And demand for low quality meat is given this way. So let's say, okay, $2 per pound. The people buy, let's say, 100 pounds of meat a day. So in this case, let's say income increases. Let's say from $50,000 per year to, let's say, $70,000 per year. Then what happens is that even though price of raw meat remains same at $2 per pound, it's possible that only 50 pounds of meat are sold. So this. So demand decreases. People may try to buy the better quality meat, okay, or organic meat, okay, not very low quality meat. So in this case, when income increases, demand decreases. If this happens, then this low quality meat is what? An inferior. Called inferior.